Hey, what's going on, guys? What's going on? I hope you guys are having a wonderful day. My name is Dr. Boyce Watkins, and today on the Black Financial Channel, we're going to ask whether or not the Apple Card or the Apple Savings Account is just another debt trap. I saw somebody describe it as a debt trap. I'm not saying that's how I feel. I'm saying that's what some people are saying. So we're going to break that down. So get comfortable, buckle up a seatbelt. We're going to get started on the Black Financial Channel right now. Welcome to the Black Financial Channel. That's theblackfinancialchannel.com. My name is Dr. Boyce Watkins. I am your friendly neighborhood finance professor. On the Black Financial Channel, we talk about Black wealth and Black economics every single day, sometimes as much as 10 times a day under the B1 condition. B1 means we're Black first. B1 also means we educate our kids. B1 means that we want our families to get ahead. So if you are in that category, if you believe in Black excellence and you want to get rid of mediocrity, if you're allergic to mediocrity, then put a B1 in the chat. I want to say hello to everybody and good afternoon. And I want to ask you all a quick question. Give me a yes or no. How many of you are aware of the Apple savings account? How many of you are aware that Apple is now paying what looks like a pretty good amount of money on these savings accounts? And they look pretty good. It looks like Apple has a winner in terms of giving consumers something nice. I saw a rate of around 4% or something like that. And I personally thought that was pretty good. Not bad, not terrible. It's definitely great compared to what was being offered before the Federal Reserve started hiking interest rates. So how many of you saw this? All right. So a lot of you did. And I see some of the yeses coming in the chat. And so as I get started, Malik Muhammad and Just Blaze and my name is Corey. Let's talk about that, right? Let's talk about this because a lot of people love the Apple account. Let me just say this: when the new savings accounts came out, they immediately collected $400 million. I think in the first day, $400 million from consumers that dropped so much money into their Apple savings accounts. And as I'm looking, as I'm doing the research on it, according to the New York Post, it says that it's a high yield savings account, which is dangling an interest rate that's 10 times the national average. It's gotten a total actually of $1 billion in the first 4 days since the launch. And so it's interesting because this is Apple jumping into the banking industry after just 4 days of service, which is only available to holders of the Apple credit card. The number 240,000 customers, the magazine reported. March data from the FDIC showed consumers earned an average of 0.37% on savings accounts. On the day it launched, depositors deposited $400 million into their accounts, which is being offered in partnership with Goldman Sachs. The Apple rate is higher than the 3.9% Goldman offers on the online savings account at its digital consumer bank Marcus. So Goldman Sachs was backing a card that's paying more than its existing, backing an account, not a card, an account that pays more than its existing account, which is kind of interesting because it's all, you almost wonder if it's cannibalizing the sale. And so what's interesting is that this savings account is new. It's you always have to ask yourself, why are they doing this? What's the goal here? Why would Apple do something like this? Why would Apple go into banking in the first place? Well, Goldman Sachs has always tried to get into the banking industry. They want to get into the consumer banking industry because it's so lucrative. They haven't had a lot of success at that. Apple is the perfect gateway into this industry because Apple has the consumers. Apple has millions of people that use those little devices on their phone. Companies go through Apple, and if you don't control the gateway the way Apple does, then you are beholden to whatever Apple chooses to do. Facebook lost billions of dollars because Apple changed its privacy settings, and Mark Zuckerberg was so upset that he created an ad in the New York Times complaining about what Apple was doing, right? So Apple is powerful. They're the 800-pound gorilla in the room, and they've decided to enter this industry with this new savings account. Now, the interesting thing about this is I want to ask you all a question. How much do you think? Now, pay attention now. You noticed earlier, Apple said this new card, it's only available to people who, sorry, I keep saying card because I'm thinking about the credit card. I apologize. This new account is only available to people who own the Apple card. Did anybody catch that? Give me a yes or no if you caught that. And why is that significant? Well, let me tell you why that's significant. Does anybody know how much interest you have to pay on an Apple card? Does anybody know if you get an Apple credit card, does anybody know how much interest you're expected to pay? Well, if you do a Google search, you can find out. And I actually did a Google search, and I was literally taken to apple.com, and I saw an interest rate of, I want to say, between 14 and 26%. It may be 14, 26, maybe it was 13 to 26%. It was something that was higher than 4. That's my point. It was something that was much higher than the 4% that they're going to pay you on your money. So effectively what they're doing, it seems, is creating this interesting ecosystem with existing card members. They're saying, hey, we're going to pay you in the left hand and take from you in the right. And the amount that we take from you, if you're a sucker, not everybody, right? But if you don't see what we're doing, the amount we're taking from you is going to far exceed the amount that you're actually going to get. We're going to give you 4 and we're going to take 13, 14, 15%. Now, if you are a person who, let's say you have $1,000 in your Apple savings account, but you're $5,000 in debt to Apple, is that a good deal for you? Is that something that you want to do? Is that a smart deal? Not so smart? How do you feel about that? What do you think? Some would say that's not the best deal. Some would say that if you are caught in the debt trap, like a lot of people are, Americans are spending more. Inflation is causing the prices of things to go up. Wages are not going up, but yet we're still maintaining the same standard of living. We're doing that through debt. Debt is the number one vehicle through which people are trying to keep up with a lifestyle that they believe they're supposed to have because somebody put it in a magazine and it wasn't consistent with reality. And it's 10 times worse if you're a single parent trying to do all that. I'm married to my wife, and we're noticing the prices of things going up. I got an Apple Lattice crumb cake or something, and I looked at it and it said $9 on it. And I said, when did these become $9? They used to be 4. I remember when it used to be 4, then it became 5. That was bad enough. Now it says 9. How the hell is it 9? Right? So the prices, is anybody else noticing this? The prices of everything is going up. But so the unfortunate paradox of America is that the same way that they train you to become addicted to greasy, fatty food that's going to kill you, give you diabetes, heart disease, and cancer, they get you addicted to greasy, fatty consumer spending habits. They want you going in debt to buy things you don't need to impress people that you don't even like. So anyway, as I move forward, do me a favor. Please hit the thumbs up button, thumbs up, share, subscribe. I want to remind you I have a new book. It's called The 10 Commandments of Black Economic Power. It is on Amazon. It is a bestseller. It is 10 simple rules I laid out from financial theory applied specifically to Black people. We're specifically solving the wealth gap in this book, and it applies to your family. And if you do this, then your family will be wealthy within one generation. I guarantee you. But you got to follow the rules. You have to set a code of conduct. So feel free to go to Amazon and take a look at the book. Also, this podcast is on Spotify. So if you look up the Dr. Boyce Breakdown on Spotify, you can find me there. I'll be in Dallas on May 19th. If you want to join us for a 2-day Black Wealth training camp, we're going to go do a deep dive on this book. So anyway, let's hop in and finish what we're talking about here. So here's the thing. Just because the Apple savings / credit card situation could be a debt trap, that doesn't mean it has to be a debt trap. Just because you could be a sucker doesn't mean you have to be a sucker. Remember, what they do is they pull all the consumers together. They don't keep people from saving or investing if they want to. They just incentivize you to do things that are going to make a profit. For Apple, Apple doesn't make. In fact, let's look at how much money Apple makes in profit every quarter. Let's do a little Google search, shall we? Let me see here. What were Apple's profits last quarter? So in last quarter, it says that the company, Lord Jesus, the company had 117.2 billion in revenue. 117.2 billion in revenue. Last year's gross profit. Profit is money they got from you. Profit is money they don't actually have. Profit is money that they did not have that they got from you buying stuff from them. Their profit, money they created for themselves, for their shareholders and their families, was $166.87 billion in 2022. That is money that they scooped up from consumers like you based on your consumer habits and based on buy low, sell high, based on them buying something for this price and selling it to you for that price. In some cases, in many cases, it was the iPhone, right? They pay this much to make one, then they sell it to you for that much, and they make a profit. And it's not a crime, it's not a terrible thing. But now they're doing that with money. Now they're doing that with money. I mean, and again, every bank does it. So I'm not indicting Apple. I'm not saying Apple's a corrupt company. I'm not saying they're terrible. Banks, that's what they do. That's what they say, okay, we're going to buy the money from the customer. We're going to pay you 4% for your money. And then we're going to loan it right back to you, because this card is this account is not available to everybody. It's not available to just any and everybody out there. You must be a credit card holder in order to get access to these savings accounts. So they're going to the credit card holders and they're saying, look, we'll buy your money for this much, and then we're going to circle back around, loan it right back to you for that much, and you're going to pay us the difference. That's called a spread. Some people are going to see it. Some people are going to say, oh, hell no, I'm going to get the card, but I'm not carrying a balance. In that case, you got to be careful about the fees, right? Because they always slip those little fees in there, right? But then some people are going to say, oh, this is great. I'm going to earn 4% on my money because it feels good psychologically to know that you're saving. Everybody should save anyway, just to have some liquidity. But then you're paying more on the back end than you are on the front end. So if you ever get that sinking feeling that makes you feel like you're not getting ahead, even though you're working hard and you're doing all the right things, that might be it. It's no different from how you might go to the store and eat what you think is healthy food, and you're eating healthy food, but you keep getting fatter and your health keeps declining and you don't know why. And then you find out that the food that you thought was healthy had all these toxins in it and pesticides and sugar and all this other. That's what made me mad. I got so upset when I found out that even stuff that I thought was sugar free. Like I used to think, I kid you not, I grew up in the 70s and 80s. I used to think that if you ate cornflakes without sugar, that you were really doing good. Anybody else grow up like that, where you really thought, if you really want to torture yourself, get you some cornflakes, don't put no sugar on it. So these ain't Frosted Flakes where the sugar's on there. These are cornflakes, no sugar. I thought that if you did that, you would be healthy. No, then I see these documentaries. They're like, oh, this is how much sugar is in this cornflakes. I'm like, Lord Jesus, I can't get away from this. This is crazy. So the systems are this is the dark side of capitalism. Capitalism is connected to freedom of choice. You're free to do whatever you want, but they're free to trick you into doing whatever they want you to do. They're free to incentivize you to do things that are going to benefit their bottom line. They're free to lay out whatever temptation they want to put in front of you to get you off your track. So you're really going to have to think carefully about this. Critical thinkers won't get this. People who are not intelligent Black people won't understand. I personally believe, though, that intelligent Black people are going to save the world. I think you're going to save the whole Black community. Those of you that are raising your kids right and teaching them how to be thinkers, your kids are going to be leaders. And that's why I invest in you the way that I do, because I know you're invested in your kids. And I believe that's how we can invest in our people winning. All right. So anyway, Stephen says, do you have an ebook or an audio book? I do not have an ebook on the 10 Commandments. I do not have an audio book yet. I do have a training that I'm going to do that will kind of be like an audiobook, except better, where I'm going to do what I do on Wednesday nights. We have book club, where we go through Powernomics. People say, well, is there an audio version of Powernomics? No, there is no audio version of Powernomics, but there is Dr. Boyce reading it word by word, line by line, analyzing it and breaking it down for you. So that was something we've been doing for several years. So you can join us on Wednesday night. Just go to boycewatkins.com and look for the book club. You can find it. Also, last but not least, don't forget, if you go to boycewatkins.com, you can join us in Dallas for our May 19th Black Wealth Training Camp. And also the new book is called The 10 Commandments of Black Economic Power. And also on my website, there's a training on how to make money without working. So feel free to take a look at any of that if you think that will help you. And I'm going to get on out of here, guys. God bless you. Thank you so much for listening. I will see you soon. Have a great day. Peace.